my little friends, and welcome into today's episode of Forte Catholic. We are so glad that you are here, whether this is your first time listening or you're returning because you're a glutton for punishment. Welcome back. Allison Sullivan is here in studio today. We run the gamut of topics. We talk about her getting old. We talk about a big transition in my life. We talk about the saints and the temperaments, how those two things connect. Maybe Jesus bringing me some chicken, and there's a lot of chicken in today's episode. We hope that you enjoy it. If you do, please hit subscribe wherever you are listening on podcasts, and especially over on youtube.com/Forte Catholic, where you can watch full episodes of this show that you're listening to right now in your little ear holes, and you can see us. We're very pretty. I mean, at least one of us is. I'll let you decide who. Enjoy today's show, my friends. What's up? Welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll. That is Allison Jemima Sullivan. Allison, how are you today, my friend?
Hello, Taylor. Doing good. Doing great.
I made a very big transition in my life.
How's that? What's that?
From
what to what?
I have become a stay-at-home mom.
I got to hear all about it.
Okay. 2 years ago, I just want to paint the picture.
Yes.
This was before COVID.
Yes.
My life was doing great.
Yes.
I was, working. I had this big grown-up job. I had a fancy title.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was traveling all over the country and feeling very special.
Lots of
and
hotel
important.
rooms and first class.
People paying for everything. Somebody was like, "Oh, I wish I could get status at the airline." I was like, "Just get other people to pay for it."
Yeah.
I've paid for one flight in a decade. It was to go see Jonathan Blevins.
Oh.
Every other flight I've ever taken.
John, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did he know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't seem to care.
I care.
But yeah, I mean, just get everybody else to pay for it. It was a relatively
VIP.
I felt glamorous every now and then.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And it was a pretty stereotypical, like, yeah, I'm the man of the house. I'm making all the money. My kids and my wife were at home, just waiting for me to return to grace them with my presence and bring home a big check and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then COVID happened and everything sucked.
Yeah.
Fast forward 2 years. My wife, I've said this on the show, my wife, about 2 months ago, got a job at our parish, and we're very happy for her. And my kids, including my youngest, now all go to Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from me being the only one gone and my wife and my kids being here to now they're all gone all day.
Yeah.
And
with
I'm here.
With a little pandemic stuck right in the middle there
yeah,
where you're all in the house together.
It was like a Uno reverse card. Reverse! Everybody did something different.
Nice. Yes. Okay.
I've never heard pandemic. It's very funny. I pictured Demi Moore and like how she probably looked haggard during COVID, and that's a pandemic. That's what I pictured.
I feel like I could get there. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Without a whole lot of
comments. So for the month, 5 weeks that my wife started working while my kids were at home, like I was the stay-at-home dad, and I still have a 40-hour work week, to do in here, but I'm at home, so I can do it. And like I started getting behind a little bit, and then finally last week the kids just, I almost said decided to go to school, like it was up to them. They started school, and I was kind of like the working dad. Like I kind of accepted that, the stay-at-home dad, the working dad. Yeah. But then last week, school starts, and my neighbor, lady, one of my good friends, Jennifer, she has 3 little girls, and you were a stay-at-home mom for quite some time.
I know what it looks like for me.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear about.
So
what it's looking
whenever
like
you're a stay-at-home mom, not only do you have kids, but I would imagine that every now and then you would trade favors. Like, hey, can you watch my kids? I'll watch your kids some of the days. I did that last week.
You did.
I watched. There were 3 days that I was home that my kids were not home. 2 of those days, I watched someone else's kids.
No, it's another level of stay-at-home-inness. It's true. It's another
I'm the trusted
echelon.
mom in the neighborhood now.
Right, exactly.
I've just fully accepted it that I'm a stay-at-home mom.
If Jennifer comes down with something, are you going to take her a casserole? Are you going to wash her husband's boxers? Are you going to do each other's laundry?
You assume I don't wash his boxers already. That's just for fun. Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Oh gosh.
No, I'm lazy.
Okay, well, I'm just saying there's
so DoorDash
room.
though.
There's
I'll order
room
than
for you to
DoorDash.
grow. So
I'm not a casserole woman.
Mhm. You've got your limits.
Yeah.
Just stay at home momming.
Hey, who knows? Maybe by next week I'll take my next step.
Were
in
you
becoming a stay-at-home
covered
mom.
in like a layer of film, of yogurt film?
You said yogurt film on your show, and I don't know what that means.
Oh my gosh, I really think that there were probably 3 years that I was covered in some sort of dairy product. It might have been
Also
my
no
own breast milk.
comment. Yeah, exactly.
But if it wasn't that, it was definitely yogurt. It's a very sticky existence, stay-at-home momming.
I sweat too much. It just all ends up on the floor.
There's
I guess.
jelly, there's goldfish. I'm just curious. Here's the thing is that I was here. I kind of know what your days looked like. You have very obedient, sweet little children. And
they're terrified of me. Yeah.
Well, a small degree of fear, I think, is probably just fine.
Mhm.
But you tell them to go, into the back room and play, and you'll have something on for them, and they need to be quiet for a moment, and they know just what that means. They know what's happening in here. And so I think you're on a pretty tight ship, Taylor.
Yeah, I'm a professional stay-at-home mom with a podcast.
So many cliches.
I know, it's very, very funny.
You need a blog. You need this deserves a whole other Instagram page.
This is it. I even have the name for it. Taylor the stay-at-home mom. I'm gonna wear a wig the whole time.
Oh
Just
gosh,
wear a wig.
this could go places.
A blonde wig. I'll get people and I'll offer a boxer washing service. It'll be my OnlyFans. Finally make some money around here. Every stay-at-home mom needs a side hustle, right?
No, that I tell you, I don't know, Taylor. Quit alienating people, okay?
Oh, I think I'm the only person that's been alienated from who I thought I was becoming 2 years ago.
Well, I am excited about Sam's job. I think it's good for her to get out and use her brain and.
Yeah, she hadn't used that in 10 years.
Well, just in other ways, in different ways. There were so many things that I was grateful for as a stay-at-home mom, one of them being, as you know, a root canal. But it was like, well, this is depressing. Like the things that I get excited about. I mean, I was basically accosting our mailman just for some grown-up conversation at one point. It was like, you could see him. He would start to like quietly leave stuff on the porch and then quickly leave, trying to avoid me because I would.
Real Housewives of Bryan over here.
Oh
hitting
man,
on the mailman.
It's rough. It gets rough. I'm glad you've had an easy time of it, Taylor. You obviously have a lot of support.
I just pictured, so our mailman, like we have one of those like community mailboxes at the end of our street. I just pictured me like running after our mailman trying to hit on him. I think I might do that next. So I think this is all in my desire to become more and more like you. You've been a role model for being a stay-at-home mom, but there's also another thing that I've become more like you.
How's that?
So I went to the hotel when I started traveling again. I went to Kansas this week. It was one of the coolest venues I've ever spoken at. So like you travel.
I was like, did you get nicer? And you're like, no, of course not.
No, absolutely
Keep listening.
No. It's very funny you say that because what I'm about to say, you're not going to think it's very nice. The other way that I'm becoming like you is I had booked my hotel room online. That's not the part like you. I don't think you know how to do that. But I had booked the hotel online. And I showed up, and the lady looks at me, and she says, she looks at me kind of quizzically, not sure. She's like, it says here that you have an AARP discount. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I whipped out my AARP card, and I got my discount. So I am becoming more and more like you.
Wow.
I'm a member of AARP.
Wow. Nice. Here, why was she quizzical? Why was she confused is the real question. You are bald. You have a gray beard.
Yep.
I think that card belongs rightly tight in your pocket.
I think she was very much trying, like looking at me like, you're not the kind of person, like you're not the typical person that uses an AARP discount. I was also wearing a hat, which makes me look 20 years younger.
Yeah, it's true. Well, this is one of those things. So I like to heckle you about being better than you at word games or whatever. And you're like, of course you are. Blah. You like to heckle me about being old, except I love being old. And so your insults fall flat with me, Taylor.
Well, good.
I'm good.
They don't. I've heard you many times, but that's a whole other thing.
The old ones do. The old ones.
Exactly. So yeah, I got this AARP discount when I fully became an adult and I switched over. It was about a year ago where I switched off my parents' phone plan and got my own for me and my wife. You know?
Yeah, I'm sitting here wondering, do I have an AARP card?
You should.
I know. I think I've been missing out.
Mail it to you.
Well, you have to teach me how to do it. You have to teach me how to do everything else.
Oh, well, they'll send you a mailer. You can fax it to them.
I'd find it on the microfiche. That was really funny. Remember when I asked you what a microfiche was and you said a little fish? Duh.
Yeah, we just moved on.
That was really funny.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I didn't get celebrated. I feel like that needed to be in a clip somewhere. It was funny.
It was. You just didn't share it.
Oh!
Like everything else we do around here.
I'm the worst. I don't share my own stuff. That's got to make it better.
Nobody did. The one that actually made me mad. I used to get very upset that the co-host didn't share anything because it made me feel like they weren't proud of what they were doing here. Mm-hmm. And I think I've come to the conclusion that is correct. And I've just got no.
Like, I don't care. I don't care.
And it was just one of those things. Like, if you're just getting hurt so much, you just got to become a doormat and just take it. That's what I learned.
Poor Taylor.
So I quit years ago. Years ago, I quit being upset by his co-host not sharing it until our good friend we've already mentioned, Jonathan Blevins.
Yes.
He said on episode 300 that it was going to be the most popular episode we've ever done, and that he was going to share it like crazy. And I told him, no one likes it when we're all together, and they're often some of our least popular episodes. And he said he was going to share it, and the fact that he didn't, I'm a little frustrated.
Okay, hold on. I have a question. Yep. So, what do you think? So, if you go through each co-host, what does each co-host like about themselves? Okay, so Anthony likes that he is
funny.
Okay, John likes that he is.
He likes the more serious topics, actually.
Okay, and Liv likes that she is.
She likes when I make fun of her.
Okay.
Whether she knows it or not.
And broken. Then I like when I am
preachy.
Okay, I was gonna say smart, but okay. So, but if you made clips of those co-hosts being that thing, they would share them.
100% not. I have made. I'm trying to do real math. Let's see. 52 divided by 4.
Without exaggerating to make a point?
Yeah, no, like legitimately I have made 200 videos of every co-host but
they feature you being hilarious or
no
obnoxious.
That I haven't shared something that one of you have liked. I've shared 200 of them every single time.
If you gave me a clip of me being smart, I would share it.
Allison, I have asked you 1,000 times to give me timestamps for things that you like that you would share
on
them,
your show.
And you have never done it.
On my show, you asked me for that. On your
you
done.
Share anything.
Done. Challenge accepted.
Yeah,
done.
Whatever. Oh man, now I'm just angry.
No,
what were we talking about?
Come on.
Okay. We were talking about AARP discount. So I got it when I got the phone plan, but it is funny starting to use it other places because like the guy at AT&T told me to get it. I was like, really? Like I'm like,
oh really?
At the time I was 31.
Your phone guy told. Okay.
And I was like, I'm 32 now, and just getting very funny looks, and it brought me so much joy. It brought me so much joy to do that. The look on that woman's face. She was just like...
How old was she, by the way?
Oh, definitely had her AAP card.
Yeah,
like,
right. Okay.
Hair,
that makes more sense. I was picturing her young.
Yeah.
At a hotel desk.
Yeah.
And like...
let's just say I'd hit on my mailman before I hit on her.
I wasn't hitting on him. I was desperate for other adult opinions.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. When I was in Kansas...
Bless his heart. His name was Ned. Isn't that, I mean, a mailman named Ned, doesn't that seem really appropriate?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's the clip we're going to share.
Yeah. And it will sit there.
Yeah, exactly. I had another very strange experience when I was in Kansas. I love my trip to Kansas. It was so pretty. I kind of got out of the 9-week drought here. It was very, very pretty. Kind of the farmland.
A little greener.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was out in the middle of nowhere. So like legitimately, it felt like the Field of Dreams, like Catholic event. Like if you build it, they will come. Because it's literally just a field. So there's a tiny airport in Manhattan, Kansas. And like their whole joke is like they're the Little Apple, like they're the other Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
So I flew into Manhattan. They just like our little local airport. I say all the time that this is the smallest airport in the world. We literally have one gate. You cannot have an airport smaller than that, right? This one has 2, right? Well, ours used to have 2. So it's another very small airport. I flew into there. They have 3 flights a day outgoing, and 3 in, right? Just like our local airport here. Very small place. To get where I was going, I had to drive an hour and a half further into the middle of nowhere to get there. To a little town called Kelly, Kansas. It has like 20 houses in it, right?
Wow.
And a big old Catholic church. Beautiful church. We had to take then hay bales 10 minutes even further into the middle of nowhere, right?
Okay.
So I'm staying in what is there called a metropolis with 1,900 people in it.
Gotcha.
That's where I'm like sleeping,
Yes,
right? It's about 20 minutes away.
Okay.
Staying at this hotel.
Now, hold on. Is it a day event? Or were retreatants there overnight? Okay.
Yeah, it was a day event. It was just the afternoon. We started at like 4 and then went until 10 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a youth rally kind of thing. And so I'm staying overnight at this hotel. And I'm like, I hadn't been feeling well, so I didn't want to eat fast food. So I was like, I need to find like real food.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like a diner and there's a cafe. And I'm driving and I have directions to this diner. But then I see this little cafe that like wasn't on Apple Maps. And it's like, it says open. So I drive in. Called Annie's Cafe, Seneca, Kansas, 1,900 people.
Hold on, Annie or Auntie?
Annie.
Annie's
Cafe.
Okay.
I walk in, and it looks just like any other small town little diner. We have some here, just these small town diners. I look at the menu. I go to order at the little order station or whatever, and the person that's like taking my order looks like she's a high school girl. It's fine. And a lot of people like at Chick-fil-A. They hire a lot of high school kids.
Sure.
You see it every now and then. And then I look back in the kitchen. All high school girls.
Oh.
100%. All high school girls. And so I'm like, do I leave? Like this doesn't seem safe. Like my stomach can be a little sensitive every now and then. Like I might die or I might like be throwing up while I'm giving a talk,
Do y'all have any adult supervision in this here cafe?
That was my question, but the way that I asked it is I walked up to the girl at the counter and I was like, so is it like a requirement that you have to be like a high school girl to work here? Like, is it like Neverland? Like adults aren't allowed? And the girl at the counter said, well, usually there's an adult who's the cook, but she couldn't be here today. And I said, okay. So I'm at this awkward moment of like, it's just going to be too awkward to leave. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. So I order. I get it's like a chicken Philly. It's like a Philly cheesesteak, but with chicken instead, right? Okay. Top 3 sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Get out of here. I feel like this could have gone a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
The chicken was so juicy. It was like this thin cut, so juicy. The spices were so
I'm trying
good.
to picture my own teenagers in charge of my meal, and it's just seems like a disaster.
Terrible. I mean, the onions and the peppers were just so soft and flavored well. The bun was good. Like everything about it was incredible. And I could not believe it. So I tell this story to like the host of this event. And he's like, oh yeah, that's Annie. She's 19 years old. Just graduated high school. She's putting herself through college.
No.
Somebody in town wanted to support her. So they bought the restaurant, just reopened. They bought the restaurant on her behalf. She's running it. And this is how she's putting herself through college.
Stop.
And she hired all of her high school friends.
Get out of here.
And they're running this restaurant.
I love Annie.
It was so good.
Annie, that's awesome.
It was so good.
I want to go support Annie.
Yeah. We'll go fly into the Little Apple together.
The Little Apple and go have it. It was chicken Philly? Is that what it was?
Chicken Philly.
Wow.
Like legitimately some of the best cooked chicken I've ever had in my life and one of the best sandwiches.
And those girls are nailing it.
So, everybody needs to flock to Seneca, Kansas and go try out Annie's Diner.
Annie's.
It was just so much like.
That's great.
Like it was just, it went from, the expectations just could have gone so many different ways to just like, this was just like a completely unexpected result. And I was just like, it was like, oh, just whatever. I'm just going to go with it and see what happens.
That's great. I'm just picturing like, so my son is technically a teenager now. So on his own is like questionable enough, but like with friends, like while congregated, seems particularly iffy. Like a whole lot of teenagers in one space. I don't know. In fact, I was just at this, it was this little outdoor mall, and it literally had a sign on the window that said no more than 4 teenagers in at a time.
Oh, yeah.
They've learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, and this one they're like, no more than 4 adults allowed at any time. It's just very good. I was so surprised by it. It was cool to like get out into like the country and kind of like there was so much adventure to this place that they probably don't think is adventurous.
Yeah,
right. It's just a small little country town, and I really really enjoyed my time.
Yeah,
there.
that's really cool.
It was one of the coolest things. One of the things that I did, I've never done before, and it was kind of odd, and it was a risk. I knew it was a risk. But let's get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
A lot of times I like to, one of the points that I try to get across to young people pretty often is that the faith is more exciting than it can often seem. Like I was just bored out of my mind as a kid in Catholicism the whole time. That's where the whole joy of the gospel, make Catholicism fun again thing came from. It's because I didn't experience it as a kid. And so I like to tell them stories that like are fun from the Bible or stuff like that, right? Yes. It's one of the ways to kind of get that point across. So I think we've talked about like the Ehud and Eglon thing where like the fat guy gets stabbed and he's so fat that the sword can't come out. So I tell that story a lot. So I've told that one a lot, because it involves bathroom humor and the junior high kids love it,
Right.
But then the story of David and Goliath that every Christian kid has heard. It's one of the first stories, Noah, David and Goliath, that sort of thing. But you get the kids' version of it whenever you're a child, right?
Yeah.
That story ends very differently. Most people, and I think most adult Christians, think that story ends with David hitting Goliath in the head and that stone from the slingshot kills Goliath. Mm-hmm. That's what most Christians think that story ends with. And it doesn't. And I proved that. I usually just tell the story myself and act it out.
Okay.
But I wanted to take a risk.
Okay.
And I looked out at this crowd of 550 people sitting on hay bales in this beautiful, it was just heaven, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I need the largest, biggest, strongest teenager.
Nice.
In the crowd. I need that.
Yeah.
And of course, what the crowd did is they sent me the scrawniest, littlest.
Oh, no way.
Boy. Right. That's just how junior high kids are, right?
Oh my gosh.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm glad I asked for big, like that. But there was a part of me that saw it coming. So that's why I asked for the big guy first and not the small guy.
Okay.
So the little guy comes up, and then all of a sudden, this bigger guy, just corn-fed, like you picture like Kansas, like offensive lineman, like literally probably only eats corn, like big old kid, right? Taller than me, probably weighs as much as I do, but stocked, and I had them act it out. The David story, right? So picture this small little kid and this big little kid acting this out. I have pictures of it that I will show Allison later, and I'll post on social media after the episode comes out. The little kid. So I'm like, I was like, imagine you're throwing the slingshot. Throws the slingshot. It's like Goliath falls over, and the kid looks at me. It's like I have to follow. I was like, yes, you're losing this battle. Like he's like, oh man, so he falls over, and then I said, and then the little guy walks over to Goliath. So this little kid is now towering over this big kid laying down on the ground. And I'm saying this, and the little kid's acting it out. And then David picks up Goliath's own sword.
Yeah.
Picks it up. Slices his head off. He mimes it out. He slices his head off. And then picks up his head by his hair, shows it to the Philistines. I put it in the group and I said, that's the Philistines. So he picks it up, shows it to him, and then gives out a big yell. And some of this I'm making up, right, to make the story better. This little kid, the smallest kid there, gives out the biggest yell. It reverberates through the hills. And I was like, this is the best reenactment I've ever done. So it was like, I think it might have been Annie's Diner that inspired me. I was like, let's take a risk.
Okay, these were junior high kids?
It was junior high and high school.
Yeah.
So they did. So it was a little junior high kid,
that's
big high school kid.
That's a lot of discrepancy.
And it was a risk because you don't want to make fun of people, but it ended up working out perfectly.
Yeah.
So it was another risk like Annie's Diner.
And the people in the crowd are tied to it because they know these people.
Right,
so there's just the connection of friendship.
Yeah, it was just very funny. Like, anytime you bring somebody up, it could go wrong or somebody could get their feelings hurt. But it was fun. It all worked out, and I was very happy.
I feel like the Lord really loves that when you're like, I want to do this thing, but I don't know if it's going to work. I feel like we can analyze to the point of paralysis, like analysis to paralysis, where the Lord loves faith. It's like, I'm going to jump and a net's going to show up. I just know it.
Yeah,
and the Lord's like, yes.
So that's my encouragement. Take an adventure. If that means flying to the second smallest airport in the world from the smallest airport in the world, going to Seneca, Kansas, and going to Andy's Diner and then talking to a bunch of people on hay bales, do it. If it means just taking a risk and trying a chicken sandwich from 19-year-old girls,
you won't get salmonella.
Yeah, exactly. You might die, but it might also be the best sandwich you've ever done. So I just enjoyed taking some risks this week, and it was very fun.
That's great. I love it.
All right, we're going to take a risk whenever we come back and talk about personality traits. Don't go anywhere.
What do we got?
Guys, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is this is our most recent review on Apple Podcasts, where you can all leave a 5-star review. This person left 5 stars. It says, great podcast. Keep up the good work. Short, simple, to the point, proves that it can only take you seconds to go to your podcast app and leave a review. The bad news is 2 things. 1, this is our latest review, and it was March 23rd of 2022. Guys, what are you doing? Thousands of you listen every single week, and we have 137 total reviews ever in 7 years. Why are you being so lazy, man? Why don't you want to lift my spirits? Why don't you want to make me and the other co-hosts feel good about themselves for just a moment in our crappy lives? Guys, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to the podcast, leave a 5-star review. Say something very kind. And I forgot to tell you the other bad news. The bad news is that this person is named Brisket. Just simply Brisket. The bad news is it's a weird name, and it also makes me hungry. I'm going to go have lunch. Y'all enjoy the rest of the show. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Stroll. That is Allison Sullivan. Allison, we are going to be talking about personalities today. Do you have one?
I've been told that it's a little big.
Yeah, it is. It is a little big. You do have a big personality. So this is all coming from our friends at the Newman Connection on Instagram. They work with college kids, and like you've heard of Newman Centers, right? But the Newman Connection helps high school seniors get connected with like their faith and the Newman Centers in college. Okay. So that's you posted this at Newman Connection. It got pretty popular on the old Instagrams, and it was a post called Saints and the 4 Temperaments. So do you know the temperaments?
I am not familiar with this. I've heard people that I love refer to them. So it's like choleric and sanguine and melancholic. Those are the only 3 that I can remember, but I don't know anything about them.
Phlegmatic, which they all sound like medical conditions.
Completely, totally.
Like sanguine kind of sounds like depression. Melancholic is like the depression Eeyore kind of thing. Choleric is like cholera, or colicky baby, Like and then phlegmatic is like whenever you phlegmatic. So that's what I think of when I hear this. But apparently there's
viruses and bacteria.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what our personalities are. Like they're like viruses and bacteria to people.
Contagious.
Yeah, exactly. Very contagious. Very contagious. So it says the Saints and the 4 Temperaments, and I love this because we've both taken all the personality tests or whatever, like the ENFP and INTJ and TMJ. I have that in my that sort of
Lots
thing.
Lots of initials. AARP.
AARP, right? But. I think I've talked before about like the spiritual gifts assessment. Like there's all these different ones. And like this is one that I'm not as familiar with, but I have a lot of like psychology friends. Like a lot of people that I used to work with were psychology majors, then started working with junior high kids. And I thought it made a lot of sense, but because you kind of need that to work with junior high kids. Yeah. But there's 3 different ones: the sanguine, the melancholic, the choleric, and the phlegmatic. So sanguine traits. Easily excited and quick to forget. I think that means like you are forgetting, not like, they were forgettable. Easily excited and quick to forget. Loves to be around people. Takes on many hobbies. Seeks adventure. Optimistic. Joyful. Prone to superficiality. Okay? And then there's the melancholic. Introspective and reflective. Thinks deeply about things. Compassionate. Prone to perfectionism. Then there's the choleric. Natural leader, results-driven, energetic, intelligent, strong-willed, likes to be in charge, can be prideful. And then phlegmatic, not easily bothered or excited, sensible, balanced, peaceful, often reserved, prone to laziness.
Huh.
So of those 4, what do you think you are?
Taylor, all I know is I'm not phlegmatic.
You're not phlegmatic. Yeah, you're easily bothered. You're not sensible. You're not balanced. You're not peaceful. You're never reserved, and you're always prone. No, you're never prone to laziness. That might be the one that's false.
That's all I know is that I'm not that.
Which one do you think you are?
Okay, can I tell you? Can I make a confession about personality tests?
You can do whatever you want.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a confession about personality tests. Is that no box fits me, Taylor. And I know that like that's its own personality in and of itself.
I think that
it's
makes
like
you one of these.
I know, but I'm like, no. I mean, sometimes I'm that, but then sometimes I'm this. And so I think that there is a deeper question here that needs to be asked. And I don't know what it is, but it's something like about, your motivations or what's your underlying something. I mean, there's got to be a way to answer the question of, yeah, but here's where you like really channel, like here's where you really sit and camp out, because I identify with all of those except the last one. What are you?
I think for you, I think the one that is the most you might be the melancholic.
Yeah.
The introspective and reflective. I think you're one of the deeper thinkers that I know. Thinks deeply about things. You're compassionate. You care about people a lot. Prone to perfectionism. You very much like being perfect. We joked about your notes and stuff a lot. And I think like you said, like everybody has like little pieces of most of them, right? And when I texted one of my friends, I was like, "Which one am I again?" And she was like, "You're definitely these 2, and definitely not the other 2."
Right.
So I think there's definitely pieces of them, right?
Yeah.
But I think you definitely have some. Like I think we're all pretty strongly fit into like 1 or 2 of these.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if I'm wondering the thing that bothers me about here's this thing. First of all, I don't like the name melancholic, so let's just start there. Feels really depressing.
You're the Eeyore in my life.
But
just bring me down.
But I also don't like that I enjoy crossover. Like I enjoy intersection. Right. I like things that shift and shape and twist and move, and that just feels kind of finite and definite. And
I think you're pretty sanguine too. I think that's your second one. And that's what balances out the melancholic.
Okay, so read sanguine again if you don't mind.
Easily excited, quick to forget, loves, maybe not that one. I think you remember deep-seated things.
It's a curse.
Loves to be around people, which I think that's the balance too. I think you are more introverted, but you also like to be around people sometimes as well. Yeah. You take on a lot of hobbies. You've got your boxing and your yoga and your podcast and your, all that speaking and all that other stuff. You seek adventure. You're optimistic. You're joyful. Prone to superficiality. Your TikTok star. Like I think that's your secondary one. I think it balances a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see all. And so maybe that's it. Maybe it's like, and I know that there are certain personality tests that do address this, where it's like, in health and in unhealth. Like in health and in stress, and so that might look a little different at different times. Mm-hmm. So, but there really are a lot of things I straddle, like even the ENFP or whatever. So I'm right in the middle of an E and an I. And I read this thing the other day.
Extroverted, introverted.
Yes, sorry. I read this thing the other day that really explained it well, where it's like, I'm really extroverted around people that are good in my spirit. Like I'm really extroverted around a certain type of person that feels peaceful, but I really loathe a party. Like I'm going to go to the bathroom a lot during a party. In fact,
that's just because you're old.
And it's the kids. It's actually the children. It's the 5 kids, 4 pregnancies. I was sitting at a party the other night. This applies a little bit. Not the other night. It was last night. I was at a family reunion on my dad's side. And I was kind of in charge of the baby who wasn't happy because there was a live band and that was just a little too stimulating for him. It was too loud. And so I'm sitting with him because he loves my dad and I really wanted my dad to enjoy his family reunion. Okay. So the point is I'm sitting by myself in a rocking chair with the baby, holding the baby. And this guy comes and he sits next to me and he's older than me. He's handsome, like fit, but like 70,
I wasn't
you know?
there.
And
My AARP card in the Allison Sullivan family reunion.
so he comes and he sits next to me and he just goes, "Are you an introvert?" And I was like, "Yeah." "Are you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "So what do you want to talk about?"
Yeah,
and it was like literally, like that is exactly how that conversation happened. And it felt so good to be like, "Oh, good. I don't have to talk about crap with you. I don't have to talk about dumb stuff that nobody cares about and that doesn't matter." And we talked almost the entire, I mean, I had family there, so I needed to like, experience a lot of other people, but I like, he was my little home base. And likewise, like we sought each other out at this little party because it was like, this is going to be fun with you. So anyways.
So the one that I think that I am, and this is going to reveal why I actually brought this up with you.
Okay.
This is the crux. This is, if you're wondering why we're having this conversation.
I was not wondering why we're having this conversation.
It's not simply just to learn and
but
to grow as people.
Now. Okay. Is this our therapy? Are we in therapy?
Maybe. There's a reason I saved this for you.
Okay, great.
And not just, I've had these notes since like the day after we record our last one. And usually I'll just use those notes for the next co-host.
Yeah.
This one I saved for you.
Okay.
My number one, from what I'm told, is that my biggest one is choleric. And then my next one is the sanguine. So I think we both share that second one together, which is why we kind of work together, right?
Say sanguine again.
Sanguine.
Sorry. Yeah. No. Read the
Penguin.
definition.
Tell you what, boy.
It's a sassy penguin.
All those penguins. that little penguin. Yeah, that's so funny. Sassy penguin. I just saw penguins on my vacation, and I wish one of them was sassy.
Did you really?
Yeah,
what
you never heard of zoos?
Oh.
Yeah.
They have penguins in zoos?
Have you never been to a zoo?
Yes, not with penguins.
They're like the number one attraction at many zoos. Number 6 attraction at many zoos. There's
okay,
like lions,
go
tigers,
ahead.
bears, penguins.
What's a sanguine? How do we connect, Taylor?
The
What's
one
our
we
overlap?
connect on is the easily excited. I don't think either of us are quick to forget, but like the loves to be around people, takes on many hobbies, seeks adventure, optimistic, joyful, prone to superficiality. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
My main one, and the one that we don't share. Natural leader, results driven. You talk about me all the time being results driven. It's all about the numbers and the engagement and the growth and all that kind of stuff. Right? Very energetic, intelligent. Some would argue, but I think I am strong-willed either way, whether I'm intelligent or not. Strong-willed, likes to be in charge, can be prideful. Like that's just my. We talked about confessions earlier. Like that's my confession, right?
Yeah.
For better and for worse, that's kind of the majority of who I am.
Yeah.
So here's where the conversation gets a little fun.
Okay.
The post from Newman Connection connected all of these personality traits to Catholic saints. Essentially with the idea of saying that like there are role models for every single person like this, right? Which I love, because a lot of times you think, at least
I'm
a lot of people
supposed to be doing something that's not natural to me, or not,
or just like other people's are better. Like I know that there's a lot of introverted, quiet people that are like, oh, the person up front is like better.
Yes, I thought I was a jerk because I didn't like the party. I'm not a jerk. I'm just introverted, and put me in a group with 5 people, and I'm all about it.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But like it's one of those things that like other people's gifts can seem better or whatever. But like the fact that like with a lot of personality tests within Catholicism and within faith stuff, but this one in particular, they started putting saints, people from the Bible, that sort of thing, connected to these personality tests. This is where it gets fun.
Okay.
I'll give you one guess as who the number one saint is connected to me.
Yes! I love this! This is fantastic! It's Paul!
Yes!
You're my stinking Paul! Oh, I knew I did not like you. I knew that I did not want to go to lunch with you. I knew that you were forever obnoxious and bossy and always telling me what to do. Oh my gosh.
I am the thorn in your side.
That is fantastic.
Explain to people your issues with good old St. Paul.
I'm glad that we have Paul. I'm glad that he does what he does and writes what he writes and says what he says. I just don't want to be friends. That's all. Like, keep at it. Good on ya. I just want it further away.
So, that's me. So anything you'd like to say about me? Share your thoughts with the audience now on future Saint Taylor.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. I feel so validated in my spirit
In your hatred
right
for
now.
me? You're like, oh, I get it. That's why I hate him. He's just like this other guy that's super holy and did great things that I hate.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Y'all are so, this takes a minute to like reconcile. Y'all are so unsimilar to me. Maybe it is the holiness factor. I don't know. But yes. Okay. So bossy and prideful. Dang. Those are the things that get under my skin with you. But okay. You want to know the way that I'm shifting right now is that, all right, well, fine. How do I need to be endeared by Paul?
Yeah. No, I think there's something to that. I think that your relationship, both with me and Paul, should improve because of this conversation.
Okay.
I think you need to have some self-realization.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Look at you being bossy.
I know.
Gosh, he just can't get enough of himself.
I'm playing into this quite a bit.
No, but I will say this, because you're right, that when we take these personality tests, not only do we learn about ourselves and our strengths and our weaknesses and all that, but we learn about the people we love. We learn about their strengths and their weaknesses and hangups and whatever. And it lets them off the hook a little bit when you realize that there are really some intrinsic things, like these are pretty inherent to our makeup and how God made us. And it's like, oh, you didn't wake up just to piss me off. Like, you're just kind of made this way, you know? And so it's really helped me be nicer to myself, but also helped me be nicer to people who value different things, who do things like completely differently. Who's my saint?
So we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I want to follow up on what you just said.
Okay.
Because one of the, legitimately a realization about what you were just saying about how other people are, legitimately changed my life when I took the ENFP one, right? Because I'm an ESTP. And that's like the entrepreneur,
we
loud,
are
outgoing.
Exactly opposites.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I'm aware. So it showed, kind of like this does for Catholic people, it showed like famous secular people who were also ESTP. Sure. Mm-hmm. One of the top people, which was kind of weird because I guess it was more popular at the time, but the show Burn Notice, this is a real deep cut for people, right? My name's Michael Weston. I used to be a spy until he got burned. So my wife and I were watching that show whenever we were engaged, and then we finished it whenever we were married. So like literally in that transition of going from single into married. Yeah. And the first year of marriage, like learning to live with each other and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Learn how to love one another and not learning that whole I need to love the person how they want to be loved, not how I want to be loved or whatever. Yeah. I took this personality test about 3 years after that and looked back at that first year of marriage and was like, oh, this was the mistake I was making. Because when watching Burn Notice, I fell in love with the main girl in that show. Like the character, right? Fiona. And I loved her so much. She was an arms dealer. She was so cool. I love the way that she loved Michael Weston, the main guy. The way that she treated him. Yeah. And legitimately came up in the first year of marriage in my head a lot and out loud maybe once. Okay. Of why can't you just love me the way that she loves him? Because we're watching the show together. It brought up conversations and whether it was I think maybe we had it one time where it's kind of a happy, kind of funny conversation. And then one other time kind of no, really, why can't you love me she loves him. I love how she makes him feel and all that kind of stuff, right? And then I took the personality test years later and I realized that she's me.
Oh,
she's an ESTP.
The Fiona is, yeah.
And it was that realization of oh, I'm a jerk. I wanted my wife to love me like I loved me. Right. Not the way that she loved me. And so it was this eye-opening thing. Yeah. And so I feel like as impactful as that was for me in my marriage, is how this moment can be for how you can love me better.
I'm on it, Taylor. I'm on it, Taylor. But really what I'm going to do is try to find some soft sides to Paul. Okay. I already know your soft sides.
Yeah, my love handles.
That was not a fat joke.
Yeah. Okay. So mine were the choleric. St. Paul, St. James, St. Ignatius of Loyola, St. Jerome, Mother Angelica. Which I think is funny because Mother Angelica and I could kind of butt heads every now and then, but I think it's because it's that strong personality kind of thing. Yeah. St. Jerome, kind of prickly and love scripture. I'm prickly and love scripture, St. Ignatius of Loyola got his leg blown off. Same, St. James, don't know much about him. But you were, what do we say? Your primary one's the melancholic. St. John the Apostle.
Oh,
it's like laying in the heart, like laying your head on the heart of Jesus.
Course he is.
I totally picture that.
Yeah.
And just kind of like you hit on the mailman inappropriately, like you laying on Jesus' chest, kind of inappropriately hitting on him, St. John Henry Newman, which
that was such a sweet moment that you turned so quickly. Who?
St. John Henry Newman, which ironically enough might be the favorite of the people posting this because that's who they're based on. Right? So maybe they have a favorite there. St. Therese, St. Bernard of Clairvaux. So like the holy kind of prayerful.
Yeah, these are artists.
Yeah. Which one of the things I didn't connect until right now is that now you're a speaker and a podcaster, but where did you make your where were you first? Where did you make your kind of your professional roads?
A book?
Yeah. As an author.
Yeah.
I just realized how weird it is that you don't like the number one author in Christianity.
Oh.
He wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. You weirdo. Okay. The phlegmatic, the one that neither of us definitely are not.
Gosh.
Neither of us. This was the not easily bothered, excited, sensible, balanced, peaceful, often reserved, prone to laziness. This is St. Thomas Aquinas. The smart, the lofty, that's neither of us, right? Also, Pope St. John the 23rd and St. Faustina.
Interesting.
Those are theirs.
Yeah, and these are the 9s on the Enneagram, I think.
I don't know that. That's for Protestant women like you. Okay. And then which one did I miss? Oh, both of our secondary ones. Our secondary ones are, ironically enough, St. Peter.
Which is the sassy penguin, right? Is that our secondary?
Yes, sanguine, yep. Our secondary one. So St. Peter, which is funny because, Peter and Paul always kind of button heads, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm arguing with myself. You're arguing with me.
I love Peter.
St. Augustine, St. Teresa of Avila, St. Francis of Assisi, like your love for animals, that sort of thing. I'm just allergic to them, so I can't do that. Did I miss one? No, I think
yes, you didn't do.
No, I did.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, okay. You did.
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So what do you think you learned about
I need to apologize to Paul.
Not me, though, huh?
You had no.
Okay.
No, you have. I recognize your endearing qualities all the time. I have denied Paul his endearing qualities.
I think Paul's great. He's one of my favorites.
I'm telling you what. I'm glad that you don't have pearl clutching listeners. They're going to listen to me yell about Paul and freak out if you did.
Oh, I think anybody that pearl clutched was out when we were talking about you hitting on
the mailman
earlier. Yeah. Right. I think we're good. I think we're safe at this point of the show. All right. So
nobody needs to take me seriously about anything.
Yeah, you're here. Nobody takes anything serious here. So I thought it was really cool. Legitimately, when I saw me, the dude who looks like me, big beard, kind of bald,
little bit,
Paul.
He needs a burger, but yes.
Out loud. When I was I
really
cannot
funny.
wait.
It's fantastic.
For Allison
it was
to talk about this.
That was a fantastic bomb drop.
Yeah. So no matter which one you are, you've got your heroes. You can check this out at the Newman Connection, but it's essentially just the whole temperaments and the saints. I always love when there's representatives of all these other ones because like you were saying at the beginning, it's like it is affirmation of God created me. God wants me to be the holiest version of me,
right?
Not to be St. Thomas Aquinas or whenever you think whenever I think holiness, the things that often come to mind to me are quiet, timid, praying the rosary, quietly sitting in mass. That's what I think of holiness.
Right.
And I am the opposite of all of that. So I often feel like I'm not holy enough, I'm not good enough. But these things constantly remind me of there's so many different ways to be holy. Right.
100%.
And different. And so I think for me, it's just it's a reminder to get that image of holiness out of my head because that might be the image of holiness for some other people, but it's not for me.
Exactly. And so if we can identify, I think that a lot of people's, hangups with personality tests is that we get to use them as an excuse to not become our fullest, holiest selves. We're like, oh, well, I'm just, or I'm, when really what it is it's a way to embrace what God made so that we can get rid of the pesky thought that tells us we ought to be somebody different. So I'm sure that there's some tension there. There's a good balance to maintain to not just stay stuck anywhere that's, harming people around you or your spiritual walk or whatever. But you don't get to say, well, I'm just prideful, Taylor, But
no, I'm just going to say I'm St. Paul and I'm a thorn in your side. And every time either me or Paul does something wrong, it's your fault and your problem because we're super holy and close to God.
Oh, this podcast just got a whole new layer of difficulty.
You're welcome. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh my gosh,
That's so funny. I cracked up so much.
I love that you did not tell me anything about that.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't. I've been talking about our friends over at Select International Tours for a little over a year now. I think they're the best pilgrimage company in the entire world. We've built up a great working relationship with them as they are sponsors of the show. And I've been telling you to go visit a certain website, fortecatholic.com/tours. Let's just say we might have a major announcement the next time Father Anthony's on the show. But until then, if you want to know about a little secret that we're keeping, fortecatholic.com/tours will bring you right there. I think I'm just going to leave it at that for now. They're the best pilgrimage company in the world. And you might want to do something with them. Check it out, fortecatholic.com/tours. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Sroll, and that is a person that is learning to love me and Paul more and more each and every day. This last little segment is going to be a catch-all.
Okay.
It's kind of a lot of, we've spent a lot of time together over the last month, which is not normal, actually, right?
Yeah.
We spent more and more time together, so there's been a lot of, anecdotal things that have happened. So that's the theme of this last little segment.
Okay.
Just little
anecdotes.
One of the things that you do very well whenever you come over is you often treat either us or, if my kids are here, you treat us to food every time you come over.
Oh.
You feel like a burden. You're not a burden, but part of it is you feed us, and it's very nice.
I do feel like a burden.
Yeah, you're not. You're not at all.
I have issues.
But you ordered us family Chick-fil-A pretty often, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you'd order a 40 nugget or 30 nugget or whatever, and the kids would split that, and you'd order me a sandwich and tea or whatever, right? Very, very kind. But we had a very special moment one of these days.
We did.
We got a kick out of it.
We did. Okay. So I'm recording my own podcast and my phone buzzes. And it gives you a notification, and the notification is all I see on my phone. I'm probably trying to interview somebody very smart and wise, possibly crying. I don't know.
Right.
But I get this notification on my phone that says, Jesus is delivering your Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
It's called the Lord's Chicken for a reason. Usually he just makes it. We all know the food from Chick-fil-A comes pre-blessed. The Lord made the chicken. The Lord seasoned the chicken.
In there.
Yeah, exactly. But he delivered it to us.
He did with his own hands.
It felt very special.
Yeah.
So I think forever you and I will remember.
So Jesus. I show it to you because I'm laughing. I'm like, this is funny, and you're like, send that to me right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious. So that was one thing with you that made me very happy. There was another thing that made me very unhappy in all of our time together.
Okay.
And all of our time together, one of the days you come over complaining about, things on the internet. You like to complain about how popular you are on the internet. Oh, woe is me. I have so many followers and it's so hard. And
has never happened. I really hope these people can tell when you're full of it and when you're not.
Oh, no. I think, like we learned last segment, you
dear
just need
listener,
to learn more about yourself.
Dear listener, I am grateful for every follower I have. Go ahead.
All million of them. So you were very complaining about this. You have a copycat account. Someone who is taking your TikToks.
Yeah.
And they're reposting them.
Yeah.
And, under a pseudonym similar to yours.
Yeah.
And you're not happy about it.
I'm not.
Why?
Okay. This is embarrassing to me. So speaking of this, however, it all applies. So on the Enneagram, I happen to know that I am probably most likely a 4. Okay. I don't like that number because 4s are.
Ironically enough, I call you a 4 all the time and know nothing about the Enneagram.
I'm not offended. I know I'm a 10. So I am a 4, and so what's important to 4s is individuality, to be seen as unique. Okay. And so I don't like that. I think that's annoying. I think it's obnoxious. I don't like that I'm a 4, but I am. So I don't enjoy being copied. I don't like it. And it's supposed to be flattery, but I've had people instruct me that way a million times over, but I don't like it. So there's this account that all they're doing is they're taking my videos off of my page. They're putting them on their page. It's just simple repost and they're going viral. Now, here's the problem, because I already went viral. So it's not really about that they have 50,000 followers doing it. Okay. It's about that the one for me that got like 25 million views, they got like 15 million views with it. And so when people saw it, when it went mega viral for them, people that I love picked it up and started blind reacting to it. And they thought it was this other person. And it was mine. It's mine, Monica. It's mine.
Oh, that's her name?
No, the person that picked it up that I love. And I've been following her forever.
I was like, we hate Monica now?
Oh, no.
I was like, I got a name. I was so happy that we knew who it was.
No, Monica Turner. She's wonderful. And I've been following her for a long time. And she blind reacted to it. But it wasn't my video.
Yeah, so they should at least do you the courtesy of like being the person that adds absolutely nothing on TikTok, which I love. It's like that split screen TikTok of you doing your million view and I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, what she said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, that sort of thing. So you're complaining about it for like some valid reasons, right? Like somebody stealing your work and getting like you could be getting like, you know, growing your audience. You could be getting money for this. Like it's a real thing and it's a real complaint.
Yeah.
But all I could think about,
mm-hmm.
So 25% of me was feeling sorry for you. It's like that sucks. Like if someone was just like reposting my stuff and I wasn't getting like recognition or the credit or just like knowing that I brought the enjoyment, like that would suck, right? Yeah. But that was like a small percentage of how I felt.
Okay.
I was really angry.
Yeah.
That your copycat account, someone pretending to be you and just reposting your stuff is 10 times more popular than any social media I have, any video I've ever posted, anything I've ever tried. I work at this full time, and some ass just took your stuff and reposted it, and it's more popular than anything I'll ever do.
Maybe
it makes me so angry.
You'll make a reel of me being smart, and I'll share it, and we can both be famous.
Maybe I'm just gonna make a cat account of you. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna copy what you did, post your videos, and after it has 18,000 times more listeners than I do, I'll just change it to the Forte Catholic TikTok account.
If it happens again, I'll know where to look.
I'm so frustrated. And so, I have more right to be angry than you.
Now, I've been telling everyone, you have more. Well, I've been telling everyone, I'm like, please be nice to this person. It might be a child.
Screw her. Her name is Monica.
No! Don't.
It's your son trying to break away from you.
Oh my gosh. That's a good topic. That's a good topic for next time.
So
because I have something to say about that. Anyways, but I'm like, please be nice to this person. They could be a child. I've tried to be really nice about the whole thing. So I went and on every video that they took, I went and posted, please quit stealing our videos. I know that you're creative too.
But they're not.
So
you're lying.
We'll see. Actually, the account just got banned yesterday.
Did it?
It did.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
And me. 75% for me.
The door is open, Taylor.
All right. We're going to close today's show. We've talked a lot about how we've been trying to grow as people. We talked about a little bit about how we're staunchly staying who we are as people. So I'd like to share a quote. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. You want to know who said that?
Taylor Schroll.
A Peloton instructor.
Oh, gosh. An app.
Like, change is inevitable.
A robot.
Growth is optional. I love that so much. It's one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard. The fact that I learned later that it was a Peloton instructor really made me chuckle.
Oh, and I'm over here like, of course you're quoting your own self.
No, Peloton. I just love it because like things are going to happen. Things are going to, change is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But we can choose whether we're going to grow or not. So
beautiful. We're
going to close with our little inspiration from Peloton.
I don't ever know what to do when you're being deep, Taylor.
Oh, I wasn't being deep. I don't know why you would think that. This is all very funny to me, and I very much enjoyed it. Well, we learned a lot about each other. We learned a lot about ourselves, and we hope that we're going to grow just like our Peloton instructor wants us to. I'm Taylor Schroll. That's Allison Sullivan. I'll be back next week. See ya!
You will never see me on a Peloton.
Thank you guys for watching and listening to today's show. We hope that you enjoyed it. We sure did. We just giggled the whole time. It was so fun. We giggled during the show. We giggled in between segments, and we giggled as I kicked Allison out of the house and made her get in her very large 15-passenger mom van. If you did enjoy it, please hit subscribe wherever you're watching, listening. Leave that review just to make our week. Y'all are the best. We love you. See you soon.